Welcome to Cambodia Business Week. Good morning, Cambodia. We are back again with an exciting show this week. We have two guests. Both of them are Cambodian this week, which is a fantastic thing because we usually have a little bit of a mix, but we have two Cambodians on this morning. Two very, very influential and exciting Cambodians, one in business and one in the NGO space. But we're going to start with business because this is Cambodia Business Week.
Nice.
So I want to first introduce you to Khorn Chhundara. My Khmer is getting better.
Better.
That's great. I will call you Dara just to make it simple.
Sure.
So Dara, you have three exciting businesses here. So anybody listening to the show would know these brands, or at least certainly would know Koi Café.
I do hope so.
Yeah. We have Koi Café. We have Tube.
Tube, yes.
And we also have Orkin, which is a new business that you just started.
Right. Yes.
All right. Two of them are in F&B.
And
one of them is in pest control, and three of them all are franchises.
No, two are franchises, and Tube is my own creation in Cambodia.
Okay, which one's your own creation?
Tube Café.
Tube Café, that's right. We'll tell, this is your own creation, but in a sense you've copied a model that was very successful in another part of the world.
Yes, it's
Cambodianized.
Inspired, yes.
Yeah, you're inspired. That's a good word to use. I like that. It's not copied, it's inspired.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's first start with you, because you've had some time, obviously by your accent.
Right.
You spent some time in the U.S., sort of a fellow American in a way as well.
You can say that, yeah.
Yeah, so you are I was East Coast, you were West Coast.
Right, yes.
Right. So let's talk about first, where were you born?
I was born here, 1989 in Phnom Penh.
So still a young guy.
Relatively young.
28 years old.
It depends.
28-year-old entrepreneur.
I mean, the customers I'm serving now are in their early 20s, so when I meet them, I do feel that.
But an entrepreneur at 28 is fantastic. A great success story. So what part of Cambodia were you born in?
I was here in the city. My parents are from Khorn, and then after the war, they migrated to the city because there was opportunities in markets here. Yeah.
Right.
So
a lot of opportunity after the war, right?
There were, yeah.
For those that were able to survive it,
it was a good time, yeah.
Did they tell you stories about the war?
Sometimes too much, but yeah.
They remind you how hard they had it.
They have, yeah, but I do appreciate their hard work, and I think it's good to understand and learn from their hardship, so that this way when we go through our own hardship, we have something to kind of fall back on, and say, our parents can do that, we have to be able to do better.
Keeps them humble, right?
Yeah.
Keeps everybody humble. All right, but then you grew up in Kampong Cham, and then...
No, I grew up here.
You grew up in Phnom Penh. And then you left what age did you leave Cambodia to go to the golden opportunity of America?
I remember it was July 7th, 2000. I was about 10 years old at the time. Yeah, and my parents wanted to give me an opportunity to have a better education.
Right.
And education in Cambodia was not that there were no good education, but good education was very costly. Yeah, Northbridge and VISPP was a bit of a bug to your pocket.
Right.
So then they had the opportunity to send me overseas, and so I went. And ever since.
Where did you go in the U.S.?
So I first landed in the LA County area. I was there for a good, I would say 4, 5, 6 years, 5 to 6 years, and then I moved to the northern part of California, around the San Francisco Bay Area, for another 4 or 5
You didn't get
years.
sucked into being a techie?
I thought about it, but I just didn't feel like one of my many talents is in tech, so I decided that maybe it's better to, do other things.
So which school did you go to in the U.S.? Which university?
I completed my bachelor in the University of California in Santa Cruz.
Right.
It's a little beach town. It's quite serene, really nice. Had a good time. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And what did you study?
Business management, economics. Yeah, so it's a mix of a little bit of everything.
Was it fun to go to school in the U.S.?
I liked it. I can never. I don't think there are any words that can justify how I feel about my college experience. And
people usually love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
did you study or did you have fun?
It was a balance of both.
Because a lot of partying goes in.
There were a lot of partying. Yeah. We at one point we actually me and a couple of my friends, good friends, start doing side businesses by throwing parties in our apartments, and then we would sell not tickets but cups for people. And so if you wanted to join our parties, you would have to buy the cup, and with the cup it's a complimentary beer, and anything after that you have to pay for it. So we did that for a while.
Did it work?
It was quite successful. A lot of people came.
That sounds like a bar, actually.
It more or less, yeah, but I think it was more like a college hangout, you know, because
Right. You must have been cool guys to be able to do that. That's for sure.
we were okay. I think we were here and there. My best friends, we were a group of 5. I was in a fraternity. Another friend is in another fraternity. Another friend is in another fraternity. One friend is the soccer team leader. And another friend, he's in this like dancing group, right? So our group was kind of diversified in terms of the organization.
Interesting, you had soccer, which is totally unpopular, dancing, which is among men wouldn't be that popular.
Right, yeah.
And the Asian guy, right?
And the Asian guy, yeah. So
Yeah.
and my group was mixed. We had a Russian guy, we had an Italian guy, we had me, the Cambodian guy, a Mexican guy, and a African American guy. So it was a mixed bag, and we were in different organizations. So our network was I guess wide enough to pull people into our
And how was it being in Cambodia, which Americans are terrible at geography, and probably 90% of the people you talk to said,
Right.
Cambodia, where is that?
Right.
In Europe.
Yeah. I've been asking if it was part of China before when I was in the US.
Right. Was it difficult being a Cambodian person, or were they welcoming? And California usually is a very welcoming place.
Yes and no. I happened to. So when I got there, I entered 6th grade. I think California overall is a relatively welcoming place. Yeah, just because there's a lot of immigration, there's a lot of diversity in terms of ethnicity, right? But you have to imagine 6th grade kids. They're not as.
They're not the nicest people in the world.
So when I went, I didn't really
It's worse in
speak
New York,
English.
believe me.
So yeah, so that happened. But I switched school in 9th grade when I moved to a new high school. That was good. So my English is better. I understood the American culture better, you know, and things just picked up from there.
Well, look, there's a lot of positive things you take back from America. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing country to be educated. It's an
Yeah.
amazing country to work. And unfortunately, sometimes the world sees the worst of it instead of the better of it. Most
Yeah.
people I know that lived in America,
Yeah.
that worked in America for short periods of time, absolutely loved it. It
Yeah.
was a great experience.
Yes.
I love it when I go back as a tourist. There's no doubt about it. When I go
Yeah.
back as a tourist, I enjoy it more than actually living there.
Yeah.
So what did you take back from the U.S.? What did you learn in the U.S.? What did America teach you that you brought back here?
The list I would say is endless.
Give us the
but
top.
a
Give us the
few-
top 3.
I would say a few things that I really would take back and share back with my colleagues. I think one is self-confidence and the perseverance to pursue what you like, you know. Cause
America makes you feel like you could always succeed. There's always even
There's
if you
always that
fail,
dream,
there's
yeah.
always the
I
next day.
I think America really, how do you say it, really promotes the idea of the underdog coming out of that shell, you know, and just kind of taking over. But most importantly, I think it's the freedom and the courage and the confidence to have your own idea, to have your own dream, and then push it forward, you know, because in other parts of the world, from my experience with traveling, sometimes you have to kind of follow social norms a bit more. You know, sometimes the culture can be a bit overwhelming. So what you do and what you say and how you act can be limited by what the social norms are. But in America, it's whatever your values are, whatever your virtues are, if you truly believe in it and you have confidence that it's the right thing to do, then you do it. You don't care too much about what other people say. Yeah, and I think this is really a strong value, you know, that American.
So it gave you confidence. It gave you, the ability to sort of say, I could be what I want to be. And then any last, what's the number 3 though?
What's the number 3? The number 3 would be the eye opening. Like when I was, one thing I used to tell my friends and family is that doing business in Cambodia has its challenges, and it also has its advantages. So the advantage of doing business in Cambodia is that because it's a developing country, it doesn't have much of the things you see overseas. So I did my master's in the UK, so I had a chance to see.
Oh, you lived in the UK as well?
For a short while, yeah, and so there I got to see
London or
Bristol,
Bristol,
University of
okay.
Bristol, yeah,
Whoa, so what's
West Side.
what's the big difference between the American culture and the British culture?
My comparison is probably not the best. Please don't take my opinion seriously, but I think the UK culture is a bit more structured. So when you go, you feel like there's a sense of structure in the society. There's a sense of maybe it's because they still have a monarchy institution, so you feel like there's this structure of society. Whereas in the US, it's more of like free for all kind of thing, you know. And in the UK, the way people behave and the way people dress are also quite different from the US. The US, in the way that we speak and the way that we
They don't have pastel
it's a bit more
shorts and
rowdy,
big
you know?
t-shirts.
Yeah, no, sure, you're right, yeah. But for sure, I think Americans are a bit more, I would say, energetic, charismatic, outspoken, whereas the British would be, in the worst way of characterizing British people, I think they're a bit more conservative. They're a bit more, how would I say it, well-behaved than Americans.
It's probably, I think the word you were looking for is they're more, they're inner.
Yeah.
More. I mean, they're not introverts.
Right.
Or, yeah, so
Yeah.
I lived there for 5 years. So
Nice.
I
love the UK though.
I love
think
it. Yeah.
If there's one place I can choose to go back, it would be between Switzerland and the UK. Yeah. So those are my.
Mine is Hong Kong. I love
Yes.
Hong Kong. All right. So what brought you back? What brought you back to Cambodia? After you got your master's was in which
the UK.
Yeah.
I did my master's in management.
Management.
Yeah. So that was in 2000. End of 2011. I did my dissertation. I finished my master's when I was 22, and then my family, my friends were all in Cambodia. Well, not friends, but my family and relatives were all in Cambodia. You know, and I had a chance to come back to Cambodia every summer break to visit family. So even though I lived much of my teenage and adult life in the U.S., there was always that sense of belonging in Cambodia. You know?
You wanted to come back.
I wanted to come back, and in the U.S. to do business, it's easy in some aspect, it's harder in a lot of other aspects. It's very competitive. You have to really be that bright guy to have that breakthrough idea, you know? In Cambodia, going back to what I said earlier, it's a bit easier just because you can look at successful models overseas and you can try to localize it and adopt it here, and most likely it will work.
It's exactly true. We had Stephen Path on
Yeah.
from Path Amazing. And one of the things he said is that he wanted to take ideas that were successful
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and bring them to Cambodia and replicate
Right.
them. And we called it inspired, but
Right,
in a
right.
sense you're replicating successful models that are not here in the U.S. And that works, right?
It works. Even on marketing campaigns, you know, what we often do is, because if you do, let's say, something similar in the U.S. that somebody has already done in the U.S., then it would be frowned upon. But if you were to do it, let's say in other parts of Asia or other parts of developing countries, we will be the first person to do this, you know. And so it's not exactly copying. It's the inspiration. It's taking inspiration from a successful model and then localizing it, changing it, recoloring, redo everything, and then applying it to Cambodia context.
Right. So when you came back, you fresh with your degrees.
Mm-hmm.
The family said, "Welcome back."
Yeah.
What was the first thing you did? What was the first job you had here?
I interned at Gloria Jeans Coffee.
Were you a barista?
I was a barista for about a
You used to
month.
give me coffee.
Yeah,
That's when we first met. That was you, wasn't
That
it?
was me. That was me. Yeah. So I did that. Yeah, I wanted to see when I was in college. So I did my bachelor in a bit under 3 years. Studying really hard and having fun at the same time, but I always had that urge to finish fast so I can come back fast also. I just felt like opportunities and time don't wait for me, you know, so I gotta work. And so when I got back, when I was in college, every year I would change a new company just to see what it was like in different industry. I was doing telemarketing for a while, I was a tour guide for a while, I did barista at Starbucks for a while, I also worked at a wall painting company. You know,
So you got all this experience.
So I had this kind of a sneak peek into different industries. So when I came back, I wanted to see what it was like to work as a Cambodian employees. You know, yeah. So
how long did you do Gloria G?
I did it for a month. It
was a
fun.
short experience.
It was a short experience. It was
Right.
fun. I got a chance to meet with the team, and so then the discussion and the experience kind of gave me insight into how people process their workplace. You know, like what kind of things do Cambodian employees want? Like what makes them tick? What makes them happy? What are the things that they misbehave on? How can I improve?
We talk about this a lot on the show because obviously zero unemployment here, basically, especially in Phnom Penh.
Yeah.
Anything that walks and breathes can get a job here.
Right.
And that's really tough on people that own businesses like yourself and me, because we have to keep people, and we have to also control our wage expense, among other things. And there's escalating wages, and you don't get that consistency of loyalty. In the U.S., you can stay with a company 10 years.
Right, you're right.
Here, if you stay with a company for 2 or 3 years, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the people actually stay 3 years at a company. It's a lot.
Right.
So what did you find that made Cambodian employees tick? What they wanted, how they could actually be loyal?
Okay. So my own philosophy in doing in HR management is based on 3 things. To retain an employee, you need to have. So we're talking about retention now. We're not talking about management, right?
Well, the other thing is you don't want to retain bad employees, right?
Of course not. Of course not,
So you want to have good employees, and those good employees you want to be able to keep them.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that usually leave the first. Okay?
Yeah. It may be because I have a big heart. I don't know, but I am very optimistic that it's not necessarily Cambodians and it's not necessarily the people here. I think it's a matter of lack of training, not so much the culture or the ethnicity, you know, because you have to think that I had a chance to go through a good solid 12 years of good education, you know, and in this education we had a lot of repetitive work and reminders to there's this culture and habit shaping for 12 years. So for a lot of the students here, they never had this privilege. So it's very hard to compare apples to oranges in a sense. But if you compare a good student to a good student in the US, they're just as good, you know. So I am very optimistic that if we can invest into training our employees, if we can invest into retaining them, they will stay and they will be good. So my experience with my employees is that when they come in, we have a very clear training program. There's a theoretical training, there's examination, and there's a practical training before you can actually go on site and start doing a job. So we have a very clear training program. We invest into the classroom, we invest into having curriculum, etc., etc. And then when you're managing, we focus on my requirement for my employees to be a good employee is based on 4 things. One, you have to be responsible, meticulous, proactive, and kind. Kind as in helping your colleagues and work. When you're free, don't just stand there and be, okay, I'm done with my job first, you know? And
you can't stand there and play with the phone.
You cannot stand there. We never confiscate the phone. They can keep with them, but we urges them not to. And so I think at the end of the day, with good training, with good culture training, things improve. So after we have these good employees who are trained and they know what they're doing, then we have a retention program. So our retention is based on 3 things. One, it's got to be your living standards. People have different needs for their life. So if you can engage and give them enough salary that is enough for them to sustain a lifestyle that they want, that's the first step to satisfying them. And second is having a good atmosphere and environment for your staff. If you have a good salary but your place is crap, you want to leave this place, you know. So having a good environment is having a good boss, understanding boss, someone you can talk to, open door policy, left and right to your side, good colleagues. That's a good environment, and your workplace is safe, it's air conditioned, it's good. And then if you have a good salary, you have a good workplace, but you have no future, eventually you will have to start looking for job opportunities elsewhere.
And that's I think something getting newer here.
Yeah.
Is to get some path of career.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do in a restaurant business. I mean,
It is more challenging, but what we do is we want to be very transparent with our staff, and so transparency in the sense that these are the positions that we have open, these are the salaries, these are your benefits, these are your perks, and we also have an open door policy. So if you have the ambition to become a manager, we will support you, we will train you, but you need to have that ambition yourself.
What about going cross-company? Because you have three companies. And somebody who's, for instance, done the coffee business, go into the pest control business, or go into the tea business. Do you have people that are actually going cross-pollination?
Not a lot, but a few.
That works a lot.
That works, yeah. I have a guy who used to be a barista at the coffee. Now he's a technician, and he's doing pest control. I think, at the end of the day, it's not so much in what you study. and not so much what you have trained. I think it's also part of you, as in like your characteristic and your personality and your. So if you have this strong character and you're just this guy who's like energetic, you want to learn, you have this ambition. It doesn't matter where they put you, whether they put you in the forest, whether they put you in, you know, like an ice field, or they put you in the desert. You will find ways to survive.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
You did Gloria Jeans for a month, which
I
was
did.
for experience.
Yeah.
Possibly some competitor analysis as well.
Right. Yeah.
Then what did you do after Gloria Jeans? When did you start your other businesses?
So after Gloria Jean, I was really hungry for business. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to start my own business. I felt like my talent isn't necessarily in F&B. I feel like my talent is more in sales. You know,
Right.
whatever you give me, if it's a good product that I have confidence in, I will sell it. I will sell it like no tomorrow. You know, so I had the privilege to have cousins who were also very business minded, and so my two older cousins were already kind of planning their own business ventures. Yeah, so when I came in, I asked them if I could join them. So we joined them. Our first attempt was at a coffee shop. We went to Korea. We met with this big Korean. It was the biggest coffee chain in Korea.
I was surprised when you had all these Korean franchises.
Yeah.
You know, especially like RM Asia, they bring in all these. I never knew these places were Korean.
Yeah, Korea is quite
Yeah.
it's trendy. You know, they're trendy. I think that the environment and the society cultivate this trendiness. You know,
Yeah.
so.
What was the name of that company?
Should I disclose it? You think?
You already brought it in, right?
No, I did not. So we attended for this.
Oh no, then
company.
if you didn't bring it in, no problem.
Yeah, so we went in. They asked for $500,000 in franchising fee. We negotiated down to $160,000.
That's
So this is like a
that's
market,
good start.
It's
That's a good
fish,
start.
fish market
Right.
negotiation, literally. You know. And so we kept talking, and their brand is very strong. Every 2 days they have one grand opening.
Wow.
Every 2 days they have one grand opening. They were killing Starbucks in Korea, and after a while we felt like the business ethic on their side was not very strong. So we ended up just tossing it away, and so we were kind of struggling. What should we do next?
You got to be comfortable with the brand. You're the
We
partner,
have to be
yeah,
comfortable,
so that
yeah.
was probably the right thing.
We wanted to. I mean, if you have a brand, you have to work with each other for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You know, so if from the start you don't feel comfortable, I think it's not a good.
So it never ended up opening here again.
We never. Now it's open, but it's about to close.
Okay.
Yeah, so they came in with someone else. I think the other person didn't do a good job with management. Yeah.
So we'll definitely not disclose.
This definitely not disclosed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is that, and then in that interim period where we ended this one, my grandpa fell sick, so I took him to a hospital in Singapore. At the foot, close by to the hospital is koi. So I had a chance to drink koi every day. Every day I leave the hospital, I come to
Right.
koi, go back, and I was there for a good, solid 1-2 months. So I got to experience koi. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and then I raised the idea. I said, why don't we do koi? And my cousins were, because my cousins are from big business background, the Vatanak family. So for them, it's big business or.
You just went to that big wedding, right?
Yeah, I was at that big wedding. I was helping out the wedding. So then it was kind of a bubble tea business is viewed as a smaller business. You know, it's not really a crazy big business.
So koi is a bubble tea business.
Koi is a bubble tea business. You're right.
Right, so I'm American, right? So this,
Yes.
this bubble tea thing, I never understand it. But
Yeah, we are a bit different though, because traditional bubble tea business that you see in America are, I would say, very artificial. It's not tea. But
what is bubble tea?
I think bubble tea is wrong way to phrase it, but our shop, we tend to say that we're more of a tea salon. We're like the Starbucks of tea. So you come in, you have different options of tea. These are quality tea.
I'm being part of the Vatanak family, right? So you have fantastic, incredible twangs, it's called, right? In Vatanak Tower.
TWG?
Yeah, TWG, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's really like a connoisseur tea place.
It is a
And
kind of
bubble tea is a little different, right?
It's a little different. Bubble tea is a bit more. So personally, I would never say we are a bubble tea shop. When people ask us, I would say we are a tea house. You come in, we have these real tea. So these are tea, good quality tea leaf. We buy, we brew, we make, and then we take these tea and we make it recreational. So you have tea latte, just like coffee latte. You
Sure.
have tea macchiato, you have milk tea, you have fresh tea, you have flavored tea.
Why
So
the
in a sense,
bubbles?
it's like
Why the bubbles?
the bubble. I think back in, I don't know, in the days it was enjoyment. It was
Is this for
people
fun?
enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good to. It complements the tea
Right.
in a way.
And it's very sweety stuff, though.
It is very sweety stuff. But you don't have to have the bubble. You can have aloe vera if you want to. You can have grass jelly, which is good for you. You can have other jellies.
So
options.
before we went on, we were talking about the big fashion was to open up these tea places, and a few tea places did come
3
in
or
before.
4 years ago, yes.
Yeah. Expanding, actually, right?
Yes.
What's your success as opposed to those guys?
So I don't think I would be in the right position to comment on their business.
You have to be. You don't have to be that humble. Tell us what you did right.
But I honestly we don't when we have we have a weekly meeting with the team. We never talk about other people's business. So we focus on what we can do and what we can do best, and we do our best.
So
at it.
you have to. That
So-
saying, learn from mistakes, right? So
Yeah.
what was
So,
that? What would have
um,
you said that they didn't do right that you guys picked up on? So we should do this.
Right. I don't know exactly what they didn't do right, but if I were to guess what I think we did right, it would be our quality management. So from the start, from trading
How
to
does that get customers in? Because I mean, you're in a business where people are going there to drink tea.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, obviously, taste is important.
Mhm.
Diversity of the menu. I mean, people are a very critical ingredient,
yes,
but they're not the only thing.
yeah,
People don't go to Starbucks just because of the
of
people.
course, of course.
It's a great brand. It's got some,
Yeah.
well, to some people anyway, it's got some great coffee and some different flavors. So
I
what's
presume it's not your cup of coffee.
you know,
From time to time.
Yeah. I like to switch around. Coffee beans.
You need to try
Starbucks.
too.
I will try
I think
to,
you will like it. Yeah.
but I'm not gonna let you get away with
Yeah.
questions.
So
because people are important, but what made Koi so successful?
Personally, I think the pillars of our success, one is quality control, keeping consistent good taste. Two would be branding and marketing. Branding and marketing can be tricky. It's kind of like playing drums. When it's silent and you hit that first hit, it goes bang. It will catch people's attention, right? The next hit, if it's the same level of sound, people will say, oh, it's the same old stuff. So the next hit has to be louder, and then it has to get louder, louder, and louder, right? So when you do marketing and branding, I think you have to be careful in the sense that it has to be well planned out, and you have to do it at a nice, slow pace, slowly, you know? The second thing is brand values. When you do brand association, when you collaborate with other brands, you need to make sure that the other brand are not sucking your customer, but you're sharing customers. So they're taking some of your customer base, you're taking some of their customer base, and their brand value matches your brand value, or higher than your brand value, so that you can be associated with a higher, more premium brand.
What's the price point? I mean, Amazon's coming in with these.
We
with
are
these
about
cheap-
$1 to $2 ish.
So you're like
we're
Amazon, in
affordable.
effect.
Yeah, we're very affordable.
So you're not going to Starbucks and getting a $5 tea. You're actually getting a $2 tea.
Yes, you're right.
And so you're getting that younger crowd.
Yes, you're right.
And is it sort of a hangout place where I
It is
put
a
my
hangout place.
PC up, I stay there for 2 hours and have a $2 tea?
Yeah. What I think people like, and what I hope people like about Koi, are one is delicious. I mean, if the place is great and the drink is crap, people won't go for a long time, you know. So one, I think we have to establish that the taste is good. I personally like it. That's why I franchise it. The taste is good. Second, we maintain that taste so that if you come in the next day, a year after, 2 years after, it's consistent.
So the loyalty,
So we-
customer loyalty.
Customer loyalty. And
So people
third,
come in to hang out,
it's
have
customer
socialized.
experience.
Yeah.
So when you come into Koi, we train our staff on three things. You have to be welcoming, you have to be friendly, and you have to be warm. So warm in the sense like parents to a child, you know, like if the customer drops something and it spills, you do not wait until the customer asks you. You come out and you say, please let me take care of this.
Sure.
Don't worry, it's easy, you know. So we train our customer to be very, very engaging with our customers. So we train our employees.
Staff, yeah, sure.
Staff, yeah. So when you come in on a bad day,
When you go in, even Starbucks or Coffee Bean, where you go, they love customer loyalty. They always socialize with you.
Yeah. That's
So
important.
this is something I think the coffee franchise business can teach other businesses because you know, when you go into a clothes store, they could give a damn sometimes, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
I mean, I know when I go in and get my coffee that person knows my name. How
Yeah.
are you? How's your day today?
And it's important, you know.
Yeah, but you don't get that. You don't get that normally. You get it in some F&B, but you don't get it usually across other businesses. So that's.
You're right.
I mean, when I go buy a refrigerator or something, that's. Go upstairs.
That one or that one. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right, so that's been great. Koi's been successful. Since what were the? You got to brag about the awards. You got to.
So 2015, we opened in 2014. 2015, we received 2 awards. One was Business of the Year in Cambodia by the Young Entrepreneur Association of Cambodia. The following year, Brown was the winner for that same.
You were ahead of Browns.
We were 1 year ahead of Brown, yeah. And then.
Are you friends with the Browns guys?
We know each other. Yeah, I mean we.
Is there a competition between them?
I don't think so, unless there's something else I'm not aware of. But I don't think so. We
like a little we like a little gossip on the show, so it's okay.
We're family friends, so we hang out, we meet. Sometimes at events we drink together, get drunk together. So I think it's friendly competition. I'm not competing with them anyway because we're doing tea and they're doing coffee. And our coffee is takeaway coffee, and their coffee is lifestyle cafe anyway. So it's 2 different spheres.
Let's talk about Tube. So Tube is what you called an inspiration from something that was in Canada.
Right.
Now in New York we have these takeaway coffees as well everywhere. Everybody has a cart you can take away coffees, right?
Right.
So you people are on the run. They don't want to go to a coffee shop. They just want quickly to grab a coffee and go to work.
Right.
So what was the idea behind Tube?
So we had the experience, and I guess we kind of learned a lot from Khoi in terms of operation and in terms of human resource management, branding, etc., right? So we wanted to take this and do something else with it, And so when we asked ourselves, what is the next step? We want to continue franchising in brands, and we are now engaging in other brands from overseas also. But at the same time, we also want to be able to create something that can go overseas. Because the Cambodian market is, at the end of the day, is a small market.
So you created something here that's a local business that you hope to franchise.
I really hope that one day I can take this business overseas.
So you've just opened it in Russian market area, right?
No, in Russian Boulevard. Sorry.
Russian Boulevard.
Yeah.
So tell us about Tube. What is the concept behind Tube?
Yeah. So when I was in the UK, I had a chance to experience the London Underground too. I love London Underground too. I think it's one of the best subs.
You haven't been to the New York subway. Okay.
I have been to the New York subway, but the London Underground too is
it's
phenomenal.
Cool.
It's
Absolutely
amazing.
Cool, yeah.
It's fast. They have a lot of trains. You never have to wait long. It's like that. There's a new train coming all the time. And it's convenient because there are many stations.
Right.
You leave one, there's another one right next door. You don't have to walk far. It's affordable. You pay a few pounds and you can travel throughout London all day.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's really deep underground too.
And it's really deep underground.
In New York, you go down a couple of flights, and but the Tube goes really
way
down.
Yeah, it's a few stories.
Those are the bomb shelters, right?
Yeah. So I love the London Underground Tube. And so, in terms of the takeaway coffee business, I know that Cambodia has a developing market for this.
People on the run.
Evident by the growth of Amazon Coffee. Evidenced by the growth of Coffee Today, evidenced by the growth and the success of Coffee Plus at Caltech Station. So we saw a market already in Cambodia. Just like when we opened the tea business, there was a market in Cambodia already. So we saw a market already and we want to jump in. But it's not just Cambodia that has this growing takeaway market. If you look at New York, if you look at busy cities like London,
you get coffee anywhere.
It's everywhere. And so we thought
they're not that good, but that's good.
Tube is good though.
Tube is
good though. But yeah, so I saw this opportunity and I say we gotta at least attempt it. If we fail, hey, at least we tried it.
And how's it going so far?
So far so good.
And you got a crowded market in coffee, really crowded.
Very crowded market. So
what's your price point for your coffee to take away?
Our cheapest coffee starts at 1.2.
Is it a little thing or is it?
It's a good tall cup like Starbucks.
And that's just a plain coffee.
That's plain coffee. Yeah. For our latte, our cappuccino is $1.8. At Brown and Starbucks, it would be $2.83.
Brown's in the middle, and I guess Starbucks and Coffee
More
Bean, those
premium.
guys are premium. Right?
Yeah. So we're affordable, and the reason why we are is because we want to be like the London Tube. We want our motto is fast, affordable quality. Fast, affordable quality. So it's just like the London Tube, fast, affordable quality, and that's why we took that name as an
And
inspiration.
it's not somewhere you go to sit down, right? You just go and you grab a coffee
And go.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the focus is on fast.
So your
and
costs
go.
are lower because you don't have a.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
Right. So in the future, when we expand out, we may even do just kiosks. Maybe it's a cart. Maybe it's but the point is to get this brand, to get this consistency and quality, to get this deliciousness out there first, and get people to know it.
And what about these carts now on the street that are selling
Mhm.
these fast coffees?
Yeah.
That's competition, effectively.
So when me and
Or you could actually expand your tube business to that, right?
maybe not, but it's an idea. I'm always open to idea, but maybe not. I want to keep my brand a bit more premium, even though it's a takeaway and more affordable.
Yeah, and I don't think the government's too excited about having these guys on the street apparently either. So
Yeah.
there's no real clarity on laws on it, but I think sometimes they get chased, sometimes they stay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your newest venture, which is
Right.
Orkin.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about F&B anymore. We're
Right.
talking about pest control.
Yes. It's very exciting.
All right, and we're not talking
Beautiful
about
business.
pesty people. We're talking
Yeah.
about we're talking about.
We don't have that service yet. Maybe in the future we can develop that for
In New
you.
York, we have that service. We're talking about really here for pests. We're talking
Right.
about cockroaches and all these-
Rodents,
rodents.
rodents, flies, ants, you name it, whatever pest.
All right. So
We can
what?
take care of
So what gave you the idea is Cambodia? I mean, look, they're not the cleanest streets in the world.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right. So in Phnom Penh anyway, this is the one city I've lived in where actually we don't use garbage pails. We just throw garbage on the street,
Right.
and that actually,
It's improving though.
hopefully,
Getting better, getting better.
Yeah, I think people are afraid if they buy garbage pails, people will steal them.
You're right,
And
you're
they'll
right,
get
yeah.
recycled from plastic or metal, but so this obviously creates a
Mhm.
lot of pests.
Right.
And I got sort of used to seeing rats cross the street.
Right.
You know, how you doing, buddy? You know, that sort of thing.
You start naming them. That's
Yeah,
strong.
yeah, I know. You live around the corner, right? And because you get used to it.
Right.
And if God help us, I mean, New York has its rats in the subways and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
if you grow up in a reasonably nice neighborhood, you don't see a rat.
Right.
You know, so,
Yeah.
or even cockroaches. We're obsessed with cleanliness and that kind
Right.
of thing. But here it's you kind
So
of gets
different.
you kind of adjust and say, okay, there's cockroaches, there's rats, but as long as they're not in the house, it's okay.
Yeah.
But they do get in the house.
They do get in the house. A lot of them get in the
They
house.
get in the house, and it's not even how clean you are. It's the
Yeah.
fact that the streets are perhaps not as clean as they can be.
Right.
So I don't really hear people. I mean, I think the MO here
Uh-huh.
is to buy a can of Raid,
Right.
or
right.
or those rat traps where people put this sticky material in and the mouse dies for 3 days like this. So this is how I think we've been used to doing it.
Right.
So are people going to get change their habits and say, look, I need a
People already are.
permanent solution?
Pest control business is actually rapidly growing industry in Cambodia. And this is a bit repetitive and cliche, but as the economy develops, I think people have more means to kind of take better care of themselves, better hospitality, better food, better clothing, better blah blah blah. So I think pest control is one of those essential things that people are starting to appreciate now. And so our clients are no longer just restaurants, just hotels. We have residential clients. We have people who live in houses and condos.
You have these beautiful, you have these beautiful condos coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, one guy that has, is sloppy and somehow attracts a cockroach because the whole building goes.
Yeah.
So
We can solve that problem for you though.
Yeah.
So what is unique about Orkin is that the I wouldn't say technology, but the methodology and the scope of service that we have developed over 100 years of existence is very good.
So this is a franchise, right?
This is a franchise.
From where?
It's an American franchise. It is the largest pest control company in the world. And I know a lot of people would claim this, but we know so just because one, our revenue in the US alone in 2016 was $1.5 billion. And the second biggest runner-up is $1.3 billion. $1.2 billion. So we're about $300 million ahead of the next big guy.
So what made you gave you the idea besides seeing, every time you walk on the street you see these guys?
Yeah.
What gave you the idea?
So my my mom had a termite infestation in her house. She had a company came in, they didn't do a good job, and then she had another guy came in.
They're hard to get rid of though, right?
They are not that hard to get rid of. It's a hard job, but they're not hard to get rid of.
You need to get after the eggs, right?
Yeah, the queen.
Yeah, you gotta find that queen.
So then my mom got another company that came in and they did a good job, but it was very expensive. And coincidentally, she hired a new general manager for the company that used to be deputy manager in a pest control company. So when the guy came in, he started, out of a cocktail conversation, he started telling about his experience in the pest businesses, and how it's this and that, it's great, this client, this is opportunity. So I said, oh, okay, that sounds pretty interesting. So I said, why not I give it a try? So I sent an email to Orkin. We started contacting them. Next thing you know, we have Orkin in Cambodia.
And you're excited about this business?
I am very excited about this business. I
mean, with all the construction going up, the hotels, the condos,
yeah.
I mean, the world's your oyster here.
And
there's not a lot of competition, right?
There are quite a lot of competition.
But not really serious competition.
In terms of quality, I really believe I'm very confident we're the best. I'm very confident we're the best. In the world, we have proven that we're the best, Orkin. In Cambodia, even though we've only started since January, it's not us experimenting with the new methods. These methods are taught and trained by the US guys. So they have already tried and true, and it's working. For example, if you have a cockroach at your house, the most important thing is to do a good inspection, because if you don't do a good inspection, you only see the one that comes out, but the one that hides under your cabinet, cracks, crevices, and your refrigerator and your loo and everything, you will never find them. So our guys are very well trained to detect and find all these things. So that's the first big step. Second is having the right ways to get rid of them. If you spray Raid all over the place, or you get those other companies that do, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work because you have to understand their biology and the way they live. So in cockroach world, you have the pop and the mom and the kids. The mom and the kids never come out of their nest unless necessary, because they eat from the father's poop. And the babies never come out because it's a threat. When other males see this baby come out, they will kill it immediately. So
it's like cannibalism.
It's like cannibalism.
Right.
Cockroach world are very selfish. Once the father, impregnates the mom, it's not his kid anymore. It's a very individualistic society.
He just comes and poops.
He just comes and poop, and the family eats the poop. That's it. So when you spray these pesticides in your house, you're contaminating your house with chemicals, and you're only killing the one that are coming out.
So you find the mom and the kids.
You ask the dad to find the mom and the kid for you. So what you do is you have these new products and new methodologies. First, you have to identify their harbor point first, their nest, where they're living, and then you apply these new products near the homes. The father will eat it. He will not die today. He will not die tomorrow. He will eat this. Over the next few days, he will poop and he will poison the entire nests. And so essentially, you're getting rid of the
Kool-Aid, as we say.
It's not the Kool-Aid, yeah. So this is an example of how pest control should be done and how good pest control is done.
Well, Dar, we've learned about coffee, we learned about tea, we learned about killing cockroaches. Yeah. It's been a fascinating time. I want to thank you. We have only that last question. And since you're Cambodian, this should be more interesting when we ask foreigners, which is, what do you love about Cambodia, and what would you like to see improve?
I think right now we are going in the right directions. You have been here for 9 years. I cannot even imagine, because I've only been here for 5 years. Been back for 5 years.
You know what our stories are mostly the expats that come here,
right?
That work here as an assignment, that decide that they don't want to go home,
right?
And then we end up dying here. So that's, we get wonderful Cambodian wives, and then
you look strong and powerful, so don't worry, you'll be around for a while.
But that's my story. I can't see any visibility where that's going to change. But
but I mean, if you compare just 9 years and 9 years ago to today, you see so much difference. Even the roads you drive on. I mean, nothing is perfect. There's a lot of room we have to grow, but I feel like we're moving in the right directions, and that's very important. And then, what I like about Cambodia is this sense of, how would you put it? This sense of energy. Everybody is just running about everywhere. Everybody wants to get something that everybody wants to grow.
We have a very young, mobile, very ambitious population.
Yes, very energetic and very ambitious population. I think this is the key to any growth. Because if you have plans, but nobody wants to do anything, we will go nowhere. So that's what I like about Cambodia.
What do you want to see improve?
What I want to see improve is maybe in terms of my life, I would like to see more facilities open. And sometimes when I get bored on the weekend, I go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. You know, Six Flags. We don't have a theme park here. I wish there were more facilities.
Yeah, there's the
you know?
American spoiledness.
That is, yeah. Sometimes I want to watch a movie on an IMAX screen.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We'll have it next year.
We talked about 9.5 years ago. We didn't even have a
Cinema.
mall, right? So
Yeah.
I was.
I cannot even imagine.
It was all about CDs from those pirate shops.
CD World. CD World, yeah.
But,
Them guys.
but that's of course we have a lot to go
Yeah.
yet. But maybe that's what is the charm about Cambodia, that we
Yeah.
don't have these things.
It is. It is
That's
part of the
about
charm.
that we
yeah.
don't have a Six Flags Great Adventure
Yeah.
or roller coasters and all that. That seems it's still the old world charm that we have
Yeah,
here. So
it is, and it's transitioning.
But you're a young guy, you want to have fun. I can understand.
I'm more of both because I have a membership at the World Heritage Youth Committee also for Cambodia. So we do work on heritage preservation, conservation, et cetera, right? So I do want to see Cambodian culture continue to be well sustained. But at the same time, I think it's good to have these facilities, this development, these options open.
Well,
So
that's your next thing to do. You bring us in great adventure. Darren, it's been a pleasure.
Please.
Thank you for
My
being on the
pleasure.
show.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much.
All right.